guys, it's Elle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a morally gray romance rec video for you. So I have been reading a lot of really great romances lately, and I wanted to compile a list of some morally gray heroes that I love. I love this trope. I love a good tortured hero. So the first book I want to talk about is A False Start by Elsie Silver. This book is fantastic. This is the fourth book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. And our hero and heroine meet in a bar years ago, and they kind of have this weird like meeting where they kind of form a connection. And now it is years later, and she realizes that the hero is actually best friends with her older brother, so they could never really, go there. And so they have all of this chemistry, and they end up having to work together on the farm because she works with like horses and he owns like another farm, so he's always around their farm. And it's really, really good. It's like hate to love angst, very tortured hero. He has done some things that he's not proud of from the past. And I loved getting to see both of them work through their prospective trauma and heal together. And it is so beautiful. And it definitely takes a while for them to get together and really believe in their feelings for each other. And it is just so fantastic. I love this one so, so much. This one is just perfect if you want a really good, angsty, kind of forbidden romance with a morally gray hero. All right, the next one I have on this list is Recreant by Callie Hart. This is a kind of an interesting romance. It's kind of a revenge plot romance. So the heroine, she is out to get the guy who murdered her best friend. And so she is going on to this boarding school where the hero is at the moment. And she has a whole different alias, like identity, and is trying to get revenge on the hero. But things happen, and that's all I'm going to say. This one is so intriguing because it has a really unique twist in it that a lot of people don't expect, and I really love that about this one. And the hero is definitely kind of a bully hero at first to the heroine at the boarding school, but he likes her at the same time, and it is just so good. I love this one because of the twist, and it's very unique. That's all I'm going to say, but it is such a good romance. It is an addicting romance, so I remember reading this, and I could not put it down because I was just obsessed with it so much, and I highly, highly recommend this one. Then I have The Words by Ashley Jade. I love this romance. I talk about this book so many times on this channel because I love it so much. And the hero and heroine meet in high school, and the hero is working through a lot at the moment. He is actually dyslexic, I think, and he has reading disabilities. And so he needs help to be able to graduate in some of his classes. And so the heroine is tasked with being his tutor. And so she works through with him reading, and they kind of start to form a friendship that leads to a relationship. And he is in the start of a band, and she's also helping with the band, like write songs and stuff. And this one is so good because there is this twist where he ends up betraying her. And so now it is years later, and he is a massive rock star, and his team is reaching out to her to become his sober companion because he is just really at rock bottom, and she's the only person that they know that could help him, that won't sleep with him and won't be scared away from him because she hates him that much because of what he did. So this one just has a lot of facets to the romance, and it is just so fantastic. The hero is so tortured. They both have to work through their past and heal together, and it is just such a beautiful, really emotional romance with a lot of depth. I mean, it's very long, but I think the length is worth it. For this one, it doesn't feel like this long of a book. It doesn't feel like 500 pages. I just remember reading this and flipping through and reading it so quickly because it was just such an addictive story that I had to know if they were going to end up together, which of course they do because it's a romance. But still, I was just like, I need to know what's going to happen. So definitely pick this one up. I would check the triggers before reading this one because this one is a little bit darker than the previous one. But I love this romance so much. Then I have Where We Belong by Ashley Muñoz. This is a MC, opposites attract, hate to love romance, enemies to lovers. So the hero and heroine meet in the first book. This is a series, and they just do not get off on the right foot. And the hero is super attracted to the heroine, but he just keeps pushing her away because he is scared of loving someone again. And so this whole book, they end up having to stay in the same house and like have this forced proximity aspect of that because she is somehow linked, like her past is linked to something that could affect the motorcycle club. And so he is now the new president. And so he has kind of taken her under his protection, but he really does not want to fall for her, but they have so much angst and chemistry between them. So it's this like tug and pull effect in this relationship, and it is fantastic. This is my favorite of the series, I think. I just love it so, so much. I just love the opposites attract part of it. I love that the hero is morally gray, and he is a very dark character and has to deal with a lot of things from his past that he has to work through. And this is such a great beginner series if you want to get into the motorcycle club romances. This is perfect for you. I love this one. It is just so fantastic. Then I have Mercy. This is my favorite in the series by Cate. This one is fantastic. So the hero, he is actually the son of the hero from the first book, and that the first book was a dad or brother or oh my gosh, boyfriend's dad romance, and he was the boyfriend. So now he gets his own book, and he is still dealing with a lot of like things that he did in his past and realizing that he was not a good person, and that's really hard for him to grapple with and to be happy for his ex and his dad. So I really love that aspect of this one because it's very unique in that aspect. And so he goes on to a dating site which is linked to the club, which is a sex club that they all work at, like all of the heroes and characters in this series. And he matches with someone, and that is the heroine, and she is one of the co-owners of the club. She is very type A, doesn't like to actually be in a lot of the events in the club. She doesn't use the club herself. So she just randomly decides to go on the app for fun, and she matches with the hero. And so they end up meeting in person, and they realize who they are, and they're like, okay, well, I'm still really attracted to you, so let's just do this thing and keep it in secret and keep it from my dad. And so she is a dom, and he is the sub in the relationship. And this one is so fantastic. This one has a lot of emotions. He is definitely not a good person at first, and you really have to grow to like him. But Bae has just so much like goodness in him that he needs to see, and they work through that in their relationship, and in their story is just so, so beautiful. I love this one so much. Definitely read the series in order, I feel like, but this one is just so, so good. The next book on my list is Saint by Simone. This is one of my favorites by her. It is just probably one of the most emotional books she's ever written. So it is an MM romance. I always forget who the heroes are. I think it's Tyler and Aiden, if I'm correct. Tyler is the one who he ends up becoming a monk, I think. I don't remember names, but the first hero is Tyler, I think. And he ends up becoming a monk, like kind of out of the blue, and breaks up with his longtime boyfriend, which is the other hero. And so now it is years later, and he's dealing with a lot of like religious trauma, Tyler is, and he sees his ex for the first time in years, and his ex is actually engaged to somebody else. So they end up having to be around each other a lot because the other hero is doing a story on monasteries and is touring all of these monasteries and going across, I think, like Europe and the monastery that he was in. And so Tyler and the other hero end up having to go on a trip together to visit all these monasteries, and they still have feelings for each other. This one deals with a lot of religious trauma. I would definitely check the triggers for this one. I think it deals with suicidal ideation, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And this one just is so, it just cuts so deep, and it's so emotional. It's such a beautiful story because you know that Tyler loves the hero so much, but he just doesn't feel like he's worthy enough. He's not good enough for him. And we just go through so many thoughts in his head throughout this book. It's so beautiful. I love this one so, so much. It's probably one of my favorite romances ever. And the audiobook for this one is narrated by Jacob Morgan, and it is just fantastic. I love this so much. They deal with so much. I don't want to say too much because it is the third book in a series, and I would read the series in order, but this one, chef's kiss, it's amazing. Then I have The Devil of Dublin by B.B. Easton. This one is kind of an interesting romance. So the hero and heroine met years ago in Ireland because the heroine would go every single summer to visit her grandfather. And so they met at this like lake, and kind of formed a friendship, and it kind of grew into like she kind of had a crush on him, and they lost touch over the years, and now she's back in town to put her grandfather to rest, and she's actually engaged to someone else. And then she sees the hero for the first time in years and realizes that he is a part of the Irish mafia. And so this one is a wild ride. It goes through so many things, kind of like a wild goose chase that they have to go on. And the hero has a very tortured past of his childhood, and he really found solace in the heroine for a long time. And so this one is just so good. It's very dark, deals with dark stuff, very action-packed, a lot of suspense, and I really, really enjoyed this one. The last book I have is Welcome to the Dark Side by Gianna Darling. This is one of my favorites from her. This whole series, all of the heroes are morally gray. This is the Hello Lovely special edition. It's actually one of my favorites. It's so pretty. If you've never seen it, this isn't the original cover, but this one is an age gap romance, forbidden romance. So the hero and the heroine meet when the heroine is 5 and the hero is like in his 20s, and he actually saves her from being shot, and so he actually takes like the bullet for her, and so they kind of grow like a little bit of a kinship, and he ends up going to prison. And so over the years she starts writing him letters in prison, and she ends up having cancer, and so that's one of the ways that she has a support system, because her family doesn't really support her in the way that she needs to have that emotional support system, and he's really that for her throughout the years. And there's nothing like gross about it. Like, it's very kind of like familial, like kinship. It's not like he's been like, you know, lusting over her for years. That's not at all what it is. And so it is now years later, and he kind of broke off their letter writing because he was like, you're getting a little bit older and I just don't feel comfortable with this anymore. And so now she sees him for the first time in years, and she wants to kind of go on the darker side because she's actually the daughter of the mayor of the town. And so she starts working at a strip club in like the fallen men territory, and that's when she sees Zeus again for the first time, and that kind of starts their like friendship up again that leads to a romance. But it's very like forbidden, taboo, a lot of aspects to this one that I love. It's very angsty, and both of them have to deal with demons of their past, and like he doesn't want to corrupt her, but she's already corrupted, and like I just love so much symmetry in this one. And Gianna is just a beautiful, beautiful writer. This is one of my favorites from her. It's so good. I know it's really popular, but this whole series by her is very morally gray, has really morally gray heroes, and even the mafia duet that she has, like that's morally gray. So any book by her, they're just fantastic. If you haven't read her yet, you need to, because she is fantastic. All right, well, that was the last book that I wanted to talk about in this video. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and definitely let me know if you agree with these or if you have any morally gray recommendations for me, because I would love to know. And if you've made it this far, leave a red heart emoji for Welcome to the Dark Side, because I love this book so much. And I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.